Salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and welcome back to Trope Week. What Trope Week is every day for an entire week, I pick one specific trope and I do a whole video on it and give you a ton of book recommendations. Today, we're going to be talking about friends to lovers romances. Hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. So excited to be filming today because this is one of my favorite tropes ever. I love friends to lovers, like with my whole heart, body, and soul. I have like 5 videos on it already, but I have even more books to talk about. This video could be decades long. It could be, because I literally have so many. I love this trope. I always like to say that I'm a soft bitch, okay? I love soft, sweet romances, and friends to lovers give that to me so much. What's also really exciting about this video is it is a part of Trope Week, which you guys know is a whole week of me filming videos of specific tropes, but it is also a collab with one of my favorite YouTubers, and that is Rachel from Rachel Reads and Sings. I adore Rachel. I truly do. I wholeheartedly trust her recommendations. Our reading taste is so similar. We tend to like a lot of the same books, so my go-to person whenever I need book recommendations. So she reads hundreds and hundreds of books a year. She reads thrillers, she reads romances, she reads novellas, she reads spicy romances. Every recommendation you could want, you can find on Rachel's channel. Link Rachel's channel and video down below, so make sure to check it out, and let's hop in to the rest of the book recommendations. The very first one that I want to talk about is a novella. This is on Kindle Unlimited, and it's a male-male romance. This is Crybaby by Mariana Vivancos. I really hope I did not butcher her name right there. Follows Jason and Sasha, who met at work. They both work for I think an IT company, and they end up becoming best friends. So our hero Jason has an interesting kink. He gets off on people crying. And it's not like degradation or even like a sub-dom situation. It's more like crying with like an overwhelming sensation of like pleasure. It's his kink. It's something that he's coming to terms with and kind of playing with because he's never really realized that was something that he was into. He does identify as bisexual, and then our hero Sasha identifies as gay. Hero Sasha is Russian, and he comes from a background where he has not been able to be openly gay. He's faced a lot of criticism, boyfriend, and he's never been able to explore relationships in the way that makes him happy because, again, his background hasn't been as accepting. He ends up reaching out to Jason because Jason is his best friend and one of the main people that he trusts with something like this, and actually asks Jason to kind of enter into like a friends to benefit situation so Sasha can explore those parts of his sexuality, and in turn Jason also discovers new kinks as friends who decide to add some friends with benefit situation into the mix, and we all know how that goes. You catch some feelings, and our characters definitely catch feelings in this romance, and it is so cute. Like, oh my god, this book is so funny. Yes, see me, it's a quick short novella, but it is hilarious. Like, our characters' banter is amazing because at the core of it, they really are best friends, and the banter back and forth is phenomenal. Talking about novellas, I'll just go ahead and recommend the few novellas that I do have on this list because I have quite a few. So the next one is probably one of my favorite books, and that is Party Favors by Erin McLennan. Fourth book in the So Over the Holiday series, but it can be read in order. Erin McLennan does this series where she takes a holiday and she does like a romance on it, and this one is New Year's, and although it's a New Year's romance, you can truly read it anytime. So this follows our characters Amanda and Ren. This is a sapphic romance. Our characters end up becoming best friends online. They end up bonding over fashion and very similar interests, and they end up connecting online, becoming best friends, talking every day, but they've never met in person. So they decide that they're going to meet in person on New Year's, and not only that, they're going to create kind of like a bucket list of things that they've always wanted to do, kind of like a New Year's resolution list, and they're going to check off all of the boxes on their list together. When they meet, though, there is this instant chemistry that they did not expect, this instant attraction to one another, and they decide to kind of explore that relationship during the holiday. This next one is also by Erin McLennan, and it is Perfect Matcha. It is the 3rd book in the Bold Brew series, but can be read as a standalone. This series takes place in a coffee shop that centers around queer relationships. I say it can be read as a standalone is because different authors actually contribute to the series. It all just kind of like centers around this coffee shop, and this one Erin McLennan, right, and it's called Perfect Matcha. So it follows our characters Theodore and Camden, who have been friends for the longest time, and one of our characters ends up getting an invitation to a wedding of his ex-boyfriend, and he really does not want to go to this wedding by himself. He's not in love with his ex-boyfriend still, like he's completely over it, but like he wants to look good, you know, he doesn't want to show up alone. So he ends up asking his other friend to kind of help him set him up on dates and find a boyfriend for him. And our poor other hero, he's so madly, deeply in love with him, but just going with the flow, trying to set him up on this date. But he's also like ridiculously in love with him. Is really super shy though, and he's not really comfortable with one night stands or flings or even like finding a date for the wedding. So he reaches out to his friend Camden, who happens to work at a sex toy shop, who gets him some toys, ends up forming like a friends to benefit situation, which obviously turns into a romance. It is super steamy, super cute. Highly recommend. The next one I've talked about endlessly on my channel. I know I've recommended this one before, and that's Go Deep by Risley Adams. Ugh, love this book so much. This book follows our heroine, who is an erotica romance writer, and she's in a writer's block. She doesn't really have some inspiration for those steamy scenes, so she ends up reaching out to her childhood best friend Xander to help her out, to give her some inspiration for her steamy scenes, and they form a friends to benefit situation. Oh my god, is that the plot for all of these books? Listen. If you guys are friends and you bring in that steamy bit, feelings are gonna happen. Chemistry's gonna happen. I'm just realizing this is like my favorite plot. So they end up forming this friends to benefit situation to get some inspiration for her novel, and boy does she get some inspiration. She gets inspired by Xander's moves, okay? And it forms a romance that is honestly the best. Xander, he can get it anytime, anywhere. Also has a novella attached to it where it follows their wedding night. So you can read both of those novellas because they follow the same timeline and the same couple. We're still on novellas. I really like novellas apparently. I promise I have some full-length novels that we will get to. But the next one is Hefty by Jessica Cain. You know, Jessica Cain and I don't love all of her books, but this one is actually my favorite if I had to pick one. And so our hero is a football player and our heroine is a cheerleader. Classic story. Heroine is in love with her best friend's brother, who is also one of her really good friends. They kind of loved each other and had feelings for one another, but they never wanted to ruin their friendship. So they're pretty young and they decide that they want to explore that attraction with one another, and it follows their very short, steamy, and sweet romance. This is as sweet as a Jessica Cain novella is gonna get. Like, she comes with the steam in this book. Also so incredibly sweet. Like, this is peak Jessica Cain era in my opinion. She did like a series of novellas that feature plus size heroes, and I just think she did them so well, and I really hope she goes back to that, because the novella she's making right now, we're not gonna talk about it. Move on from the novellas. I'm so sorry. Let's talk about a historical romance. So the historical romance that I absolutely adore is A Duke in Disguise by Cat Sebastian. So this book follows our heroine who works at a publishing company, runs her publishing company with her brother, and it's not really doing that well, so she needs to find something to save her company to make some money, and she ends up writing the historical version of an erotic novel, and she needs someone to illustrate it. So she reaches out to one of her childhood best friends. It's a person that has been best friends with her and her brother for years, and that is where our hero comes in, and he ends up helping her illustrate this very spicy novel, and of course, spicy times ensue between them. This one is a really fun historical romance as well. The reason it's called A Duke in Disguise is because our hero ends up finding out that he has some ties to nobility that he never realized he had. Dive into his past as well. Our heroine is also openly bisexual in this book, so I just think Cat Sebastian writes some amazing, diverse, unique historical romances that I cannot recommend enough. Yeah, and next book I want to recommend is Give Me More by Sarah Kate. This is the third book in the Salacious Players Club series, I think is what it's called, but it can be read as a standalone. In this series, basically, it is a group of friends who own a BDSM club. All four of them kind of come together to create this BDSM club. All work together at this large corporation that ended up getting shut down, so they kind of like invested their money and opened up this BDSM club. Follows all of the owners and their different romances. In particular, follows Hunter, Isabel, and Drake. It is a polyamorous romance, which you guys know is my favorite thing in the entire world. So Hunter and Isabel are a married couple, and they are kind of looking to spice things up a bit. Ends up realizing that he kind of like wants to like bring someone else into the relationship, watch his wife with someone else, but he doesn't really trust that many people except his best friend, Drake. He is best friends with both Hunter and Isabel. They go on family vacations together, they work together, they do everything together. So, of course, who else are they gonna trust to bring into their marriage? It's just a little experiment. He's doing them a favor. It's absolutely no secret that I love polyamorous romances. They're some of my favorite things to read about because I find the dynamic so interesting, and it takes so much to make that type of relationship work. And I feel like this book does such a good job at showing that. It's have to figure out how they're going to have a polyamorous romance in real life that's not going to affect their business or their friendship. See me so romantic. And also this book made me cry. Like a lot. Like a lot. I loved this book. I just feel like there's not enough time to tell you guys all the recommendations that I want to. Like, I literally could do a part 2, part 3, part 4. But we're gonna do like a rapid fire situation. I'm gonna recommend some books that I've talked about before that I still just really want to throw in real quick. I'm not gonna give like too deep in the synopsis because, like I said, I have more videos on it. So this is like a rapid fire recommendation right now. We have a classic, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. This one I would describe kind of like a rom-com. It's a very humorous book. Main character, Hazel and Josh, met in college, and Hazel immediately wants to make Josh her best friend, and they end up going on this hilarious adventure of setting each other up on blind dates to help each other like find a partner. But as they're doing that, they catch some feelings. So this one is a really great one. Next one is another classic, and that is Radiance by Grace Draven. This is a fantasy romance. Our characters come from completely different worlds and backgrounds, but they're both a part of royalty. And as a treaty and like a truce to kind of like combine their lands together, they end up getting set up to an arranged marriage. But they're like not attracted to each other. They don't even know each other. They end up really becoming friends first, but they're married. So they become best friends, and they really support each other. With becoming best friends, they end up admiring each other so much, and that's where the chemistry comes in, and it forms their friends to lovers romance. Next one is Resolutions by Lucy Eden. This is another novella that takes place during New Year's. So our heroine has a bucket list of things that she wants to go through, so she asks her best friend that she's been in love with forever to help her kind of like check each thing off her box, and they fall in love. It's great. I have a list on my phone, that's why I'm looking down. The next one is Marriage on Madison Avenue by Lauren Lane. This is a contemporary romance. They grew up with one another. They've been best friends forever, and our hero's a little bit of a player, and his mom has been setting him up on all of these dates, so he really kind of wants a fake relationship. He can stop being like forced and pressured to marry. And then our heroine is an influencer, and the idea of like getting engaged just seems like a really good idea for content, which sounds kind of weird if you think about it. Ends up forming this marriage of convenience slash fake dating situation, but of course they fall in love. This one is Smitten by Lauren Rowe. This is a rock star romance. Our hero is the drummer in a rock star band. He ends up meeting our heroine, who is also an artist and makes music and is a huge fan of their band, and they really become friends first, bond over music, and they form a really sweet romance. This one is adorable. That was like my rapid fire recommendation list because this video would be too long if I went into detail for each one. Again, so many videos will be linked down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!